Here, check that out, man. Today I'm checking out the abandoned ghost town in Center County of Scotia, Pennsylvania. It's an old mining town. There's not much standing left of it, but you can still see some of the structure of the buildings, as well as these here. I'll walk over here. You can see these massive like ponds, right? And there's one right here. I don't know if you can see that down there. Now, the interesting thing about it, because it was a mining town where they mined, I think, primarily iron, a lot of the water has a kind of reddish orange tint to it, maybe sometimes even green. So after doing a little bit of research, I found that these ponds were not in themselves used for mining. They were instead used as a source of water to wash the ore that they did mine. And we'll get to that later in the video, but I just want to make it clear these ponds were not mines, but they were used in the process of refining the ore. I don't think I'm going to film much of the actual riding. I don't have a filming setup, but absolutely beautiful though. I mean, just look at that. Hardly a cloud in the sky. Check that out though. Other little ponds, almost like something you'd see in a painting. Well, this is interesting. I actually wasn't expecting to see this. But it looks like we have the foundations of some kind of structure. This is actually, I was not expecting to find something like this yet. I'm willing to bet it would have been some kind of dock. So I could not actually find out what this was. I did look. My best guess, doing a little bit more research, is that this would have been part of some kind of irrigation system, bringing water from the pond to the refinement area. Of this kind of area. I'm gonna go stand up on top. It's actually kind of, I wasn't expecting to find anything. You can see that's like the landscape there. I'm willing to bet there would have been a lot of mining machinery and vehicles and things kind of in this area. So once again, found another very interesting thing here. Very, very cool concrete block. In all seriousness, here's the other side of the pond I just showed in the other clip. Fallen tree here. Again, you can see the red tint of the water. You can see this kind of banking, and I'm willing to bet it's probably because it was artificially dug. So here we are at another very notable location of this kind of ghost town. So this pit, and there are several kind of on this property, but this is the largest and probably the only one that still looks like this. These would have actually been the mines, like they would have dug iron ore out of these pits. And you can actually still see around the entire thing, and I'm sure in the water as well, there's a lot of like iron looking rocks, like a lot of oxidized reddish brown kind of rocks that I'm willing to bet are a signifier that a lot of the rocks in the area probably have a pretty high iron content. Furthermore, the high iron content also is what's turning the water green. I'm not a scientist, so I have no idea how the hell that happens, but it makes for a pretty interesting looking pond. Looks like we got some bullet casings as well. It's pretty cool. We're now going to be walking around the pond. There's lots of things jumping in. Imagine like, you know, taking the family down here for a nice swim at the pond. I'd love to be able to offer a lot more commentary, but all I can really say is, oh, look, the water's green. You know, if you have an iron deficiency, you know, you get dizzy when you stand up suddenly. Maybe just come here, bring a glass with you, take a swig. Maybe it'll solve your problems. I can. Whoa, that was a big fucking frog. So I guess animals do live in there. I imagine they're either going to be very, very healthy, or they're going to look like the fish from The Simpsons, you know? All right, well, here is the tip of the peninsula. It's really cool, you know? Here we are walking down puddles. This looks like a part of someone's boot. You know, this actually could be, I'm not going to say it is, but that could be like an artifact from the people who worked here. Maybe someone lost their boot, all but the heel part has disintegrated. I'm hoping that the camera is catching all these freaking frogs, man. Well, there it is. That's the really steep banking, and I gotta say, yep, steep is the right word. All the way across, you can really kind of get a sense of scale. It's quite large, actually. In fact, larger than I was expecting. Okay, after the stop at the ore pit, it was time to get into the real meat and potatoes of this ghost town. The remains of the ore washer. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can already see some structure over there. I'm gonna turn around right now. Would you look at this, huh? I'm covered in bugs, but. So this is the most prominent ruin on the property. There's a couple other ones, but this is the big one, right? This is the one that's in all the photos. This is the remains of the ore washer. The ore washer on this property is kind of the center of it, because back when the mines were in operation in the 1880s, the ore washer and the invention of an ore washer was a pretty new thing, and it effectively revolutionized how ore was processed, because before, the miners would have to manually, with pickaxes, separate the ore from the dirt that surrounded it. But the ore washer meant that you could kind of just dig up a bunch of the ground, throw it in the washer, and it would wash away all the dirt. Think of the ore washer as kind of like a washing machine, but instead of putting clothes in it, you put big dirty rocks. So obviously, this being a late 1800s iron mine, and a small one at that, a lot of the original structures would have been made out of wood with maybe a concrete foundation. Obviously, over the last 100 years, nature has taken its toll. A lot of the wood just hasn't survived, which pretty much only leaves the concrete foundations standing today. Maybe this is a terrible idea, standing on 100-year-old concrete, but just look at this. This looks like it would have been some kind of ramp. See, this kind of almost reminds me of like a medieval castle, What do you think that was for, an exit sign? What the heck is going on there, man? Looks like stalactites. I'll have to get on top of this. I don't know if it's possible. Here's the view from the top. You can see they've got these big hills on either side of the structure. And I'm wondering if that would have been a way to bring ore into this chute here or something. Much of the same kind of thing. You can get a better view of the structure here. So yes, I do believe that this kind of inclined area would have been an ore chute with some lovely graffiti on it, but the two hills on either side I do believe were used for transporting ore up into the top of the building, and then it would be processed through, presumably going down with the aid of gravity. Check this out. After all these years, there's still washers that move around on these bolts. And for this nut here, bit of WD-40, I'm sure that'd come off. This here is a really good shot of the overall structure. It's the main building that I got on top of. It's the ore chute. And this is kind of like the basement area, I think. What the hell is this thing? Looks like a chair. Like a child. Maybe it's like where the child workers would take their lunch break. This is weird. I don't know. I'm guessing it's almost in line with the other structure. So I'm willing to bet this is part of like some ore chute structure. So cool. It's so kind of creepy how it like hangs over you, Anyway, after all that, this is the last thing I'm going to show in this video. It's probably best if I look at it from here. It's like the foundation of some kind of building. Who knows what it would have been, right? It looks like there's something over here, almost like this could have been like a stairway or something. I wonder if you dug that out, you'd find like some buried treasure. So this looks like it's not much more than just a couple of concrete blocks. Here, there's a pipe. And this one, it honestly almost reminds me of like an oil drilling rig, like a really primitive one, but I don't think there's oil in this area. So this is a very interesting thing though. It's almost like a kind of like a skate park feature or something. This one's considerably more worn. I can't even really imagine what would have been there. That is all I have for this video. But yeah, thank y'all for watching, and stay tuned for more adventures. I love finding stuff like this, and I'm totally down to do more stuff like it and film it. But thank you for watching, and catch you later.